Today's vinyasa flow practice will be 45 minutes long, and it'll move the entire body through all planes of movement, stretching and strengthening the body. And we'll be working with the theme of aiming to be present in each moment. So ultimately, the idea with yoga is to be more mindful, to be more present in your everyday life. But in order to do that, we need to practice. And the way that we can do that is through yoga asana or physical practice, and also through meditation. So I'll be encouraging you to come back to the breath, come back to the present moment throughout today's class. So I hope you enjoy practicing with me today. Let's get into the video. Okay, welcome. So for today's practice, you won't need many props. So I have a block for a little bit of extra height, but you can use a book or anything that'll give you a bit of height if you've got that in your own home. And then I'm starting with a blanket underneath my hips, as it's quite nice to raise the hips. It gives a little bit more support for the body. So we'll start seated today. So legs can be crossed, or you can be kneeling, or you can have your legs out in front of you, so whatever is comfortable. And then placing either hand on your knees, lifting the shoulders, rolling them back and down, and then closing down the eyes. And just allowing the mind to arrive in this moment. Consciously beginning to slow down the breath. And today we'll be focusing on encouraging the mind to be present with each moment. And to do this, you can focus your attention on the breath. Perhaps focusing your attention on how your body feels in each moment. So ultimately, the purpose of any yoga, asana, or meditation practice is to train the mind to be present. So in having that intention at the forefront of your mind throughout today's practice. Training your mind to come back to the breath. Coming back to where you are right now. And coming back to this intention throughout today's practice, using it in points of stillness to focus the mind. Focusing on the breath. When keeping your eyes closed and lowering your chin towards your chest. Rolling the head right ear to right shoulder. And then as you exhale, rolling the head left ear to left shoulder. Inhaling right. And exhaling left. Allowing the head to hang heavy, creating space in the back of the neck. And then when your chin next lowers towards your chest, lifting your head, keeping your eyes closed. And as you inhale, lift your shoulders. Exhaling to roll them back and down. So as you inhale, lift. Exhaling to circle them back and down. A few more rounds with your own breath. And then circling the shoulders forward. So as you inhale, lift. Exhaling to move them forwards. And then as you open your eyes, placing your hands in front of you, bowing your head, pressing both hips into the earth. And then walking your hands back to your feet, placing your hands behind you, lifting the chest towards the ceiling. And then moving back to center, placing your left hand on the opposite knee, right hand behind you. So as you inhale, create length, exhaling to twist. Inhaling to create length, exhaling to twist. And then moving back to face the front of the room and changing side. Creating space in the upper back. Turning back to face the front of the room and moving any blankets you have to one side and coming to all fours, so tabletop. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees hip distance apart, and then moving through some cat-cow. So as you lower the belly, look up. Exhale to hollow the belly, bringing the chin towards the chest. So as you inhale through cow, exhaling to cats. And if you'd like, you can add any other movements into the body. So perhaps moving back to child's pose, circling the torso, lowering the shoulders. Perhaps keeping the eyes closed to turn your attention inwards. Waking up the body. Then taking some wrist stretches, so turning your fingers outwards to point them towards the back of the room, and then leaning back to stretch the wrists. And then backs of the hands, fingers pointing towards one another, making fists as you bend the elbows. Inhale to straighten, bringing the fingers out wide. And then arriving back in tabletop. So lifting your right leg behind you, perhaps taking some circles with the ankle, one way and then the other direction. And then lifting the left hand as you look up, exhale to curl inwards, elbow to knee. Inhaling to reach. Exhale, elbow to knee. 3 more times. Inhaling to reach, perhaps holding here, or taking a hold of the right foot in the left hand. And then releasing down, switching sides. So reaching out through the left leg, perhaps circling the ankle one way and then the other direction. Reaching your right hand as you gaze upwards. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhaling to reach. Exhale, elbow to knee. 3 more times. Inhale to reach, perhaps holding here, or taking a hold of the opposite foot into the hands. And then releasing downwards, pressing into each finger, each thumb, tucking your toes, lifting your knees and your hips. Perhaps heading out the heels. You can even step both feet together, bending the knees to lower one side of the hip towards the earth, and then moving to the other side. And then taking some small steps to the top of the mat. Feet, big toes touching or hip distance apart. Softening the knees to take a hold of either elbow, swaying from side to side. You can even interlace your hands at the base of the skull, lengthening the back of the neck. And then lowering both hands, lifting up through the arches of the feet. Vertebra by vertebra, coming all the way up to standing. Rolling your shoulders back and down, closing down the eyes and bringing your hands to prayer. Taking a moment to settle into the breath. Coming back to your intention to be present with each moment, present with each breath. Noticing any subtle differences in how you feel in this moment. And then as you lower your hands, opening your eyes, inhale to reach upwards. Exhaling to fold forwards. Inhale to lift your hips flat back, and then stepping back to plank. Either lowering the knees or lowering one long line all the way to your belly. Hands underneath your shoulders, cobra. Exhale to meet back in downward facing dog. And then stepping both feet together, lifting your right leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, high plank. And then as you inhale, reach upwards. So exhale, knee to nose, inhaling to reach 2 more times. Inhale to reach your right leg and then bringing it to the top of the mat. Lower the left knee and tuck the toe and inhale to crescent moon lunge. Exhaling to draw the elbows wide, shoulders down your back. Inhale to reach upwards. So as you exhale, draw. Inhaling to reach. This time as you sweep your hands to the ceiling, taking a hold of the left wrist and stretching over to the right, so the same side as the leg in front of you. Inhale back to center, framing the right foot. Exhale to straighten, and then as you inhale, bend. Exhaling to straighten, inhaling to bend. Warming up the muscles for the rest of the practice. And then when you next move forward, turning the right foot slightly out and either coming to the palms of the hands, or you can lower your forearms to a brick or lower your forearms to the earth. So your choice. Holding here for a few breaths, lizard pose. Slowing down each inhale and each exhale. And then rising up to the palms of the hands, tucking the back toes, lifting the knee. You can stay here or perhaps hooking the right knee, lifting the right foot, shooting back to plank, and moving through a vinyasa of your choice. Taking a few moments to allow the whole body to reset. Coming back to your intention to be present with each moment. And then moving to the other side, so feet together, lifting your left leg, exhale knee to nose. And then as you inhale, reach upwards 3 more times. And then bringing your left foot to the top of the mat, lower the right knee, untuck the toe, and inhale to crescent moon lunge. Exhaling to bring the elbows wide, shoulders down your back. Inhale to reach up. So as you exhale, draw. Inhaling to reach up. This time, sweeping both hands to the ceiling, taking a hold of the right wrist and stretching over to the left, perhaps gazing underneath the upper arm. Moving back to center, framing the left foot, exhale to straighten, and then as you inhale, bend. So exhaling to straighten, inhaling to bend. A few more rounds with your own breath. And then turning the left foot slightly outwards, planting both hands, and taking your expression of a lizard's pose. So it might be palms of the hands on the earth or on a brick, or forearms on the ground. Slowing down the breath. Perhaps closing down the eyes. One more deep breath here. Rising up to both hands. Tucking the back toe, lifting the knee, perhaps hooking the left elbow, lifting off the earth, reaching back and moving through a vinyasa. Perhaps inhaling deeply through the nose, exhaling to sigh it out. then bringing both feet together. Lifting your right leg, hips are square, and then bringing the right foot to the top of the mat. Turning the left foot slightly outwards. Inhale to sweep your arms overhead. Coming to Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. And then bringing your hands to prayer and stepping forward into the right foot. So lifting the left leg, reaching out through the heel of the left foot. You can take any arm variation, so hands behind you, or in front of you, or in prayer, your choice. And then lowering the left foot. So bringing your feet hip distance apart, slightly shorter stance than your Warrior One. Left foot turned outwards. And then either coming to reverse prayer, so hands together, or taking a hold of either elbow. And then lifting up the toes of the right foot and pressing each one down. So you're lifting up through the arch. This will protect the knee. And then inhale to gaze up. Exhale to fold forwards. First, coming to a flat back, Parsvottanasana. And then either lowering your hands to the earth or to your brick. Inhale to create length. And then as you exhale, fold forwards. Ekapada Uttanasana. Allowing each breath to turn your attention inwards. And bending the right knee, framing the right foot. Big step back to plank pose. Moving through a vinyasa. And then all meeting back in downward facing dog. Moving to the other side. So feet together, lifting your left leg, drawing the left foot to between the hands, and turning the right foot slightly outwards. Sweeping your hands to the ceiling. Gazing upwards. And then bringing your hands to prayer. Stepping forward into the left leg, reaching out through the heel of the right foot for Warrior 3. Taking any arm variation that you'd like. Oh, stop walling out like I am. And then landing your right foot, so slightly shorter stance, perhaps bringing your feet hip distance apart. Right foot is slightly turned outwards, either taking a hold of either elbow or reverse prayer. Inhale to look up, lifting the toes and then pressing each one down. Exhale to fold forwards. So if you feel like the knee is locking, just gently bend it, that's okay. And then either lowering your hands to your brick or to the earth. Inhale to create length. And then as you exhale, fold forwards. Ekapada Uttanasana. One more deep breath here. Bending the left knee, big step back to plank. Moving through your vinyasa. Holding here for 5 deep breaths. Encouraging the mind to be present with each inhale and each exhale. And then gently bending the knees, step, walk or float through to seated, bringing your feet out in front of you. And then bending the knees to lower all the way to your spine. And bringing your heels towards your hips. So your feet are hip distance apart. And then pressing into either hand and tucking the tailbone as you lift your hips towards the ceiling. So you can stay here or you can interlace your hands underneath you, your choice. One more deep breath here. And then lowering your hips, bringing your feet mat distance apart, knees together. Resting both hands on your belly, closing down the eyes. Breathing into a soft, relaxed belly. And then taking one final round. So either the first option, bridge pose, or you can take wheel pose if it's in your practice. So hands underneath your shoulders and then pressing into the feet, lifting up for 5 to 7 breaths. And then lowering downwards, bringing your knees together, feet mat distance apart. Closing down the eyes. Perhaps noticing the energetic effects of these back bends. Then taking some circles with the wrists in the air. One direction and then the other. And taking a hold of the fingers, drawing them towards the earth on one hand. And then moving over to the other side. And then releasing, and then allowing the knees to fall from side to side, so releasing the spine. And then bringing both knees towards the chest, taking a hold of the outside of either foot, pressing into the lower back, happy baby. And then giving yourself a hug, rocking the hips from side to side. Massaging the back of the body. And then rolling over to one side and rising up to seated. So bringing both feet out in front of you and then bringing your right foot to your left thigh flexing both feet. And then taking your right hand and placing it behind you, left hand on the opposite knee. Inhale to create length. And then as you exhale, twist. And then turning to face the front of the room, activating both feet, sweeping your hands to the ceiling, drawing the belly inwards. And then as you exhale, reach forwards, folding forwards. Janu Shirshasana. Inhale to rise up, lowering both hands and either placing your forearm on your shin or beside the leg, and then turning to reach the right hand to the ceiling. So you can stay here or bringing it towards the left foot. Stretching the right side of the body. Inhaling to rise upwards and then moving over to the other side. So reaching out through the right foot, left foot to your thigh, and then placing the left hand behind you, right hand on the opposite knee. Inhale to create length. And then as you exhale, twist. Creating space in the upper back. Turning to face the front, flexing your right foot, sweeping your hands toward the ceiling as you draw your belly inwards. Exhale to reach forwards. Janu Shirshasana. Turning your attention back to the breath. One more deep breath here. And then as you inhale, sweeping your hands. Exhale to allow them to fall, either bringing your forearm to your shin or beside the leg. And then sweeping the left hand to the ceiling, either staying here or bringing it towards the right foot. Lengthening the left side of the body. Perhaps closing the eyes. Inhaling to rise up. Bringing both feet out in front of you. Lowering all the way to the mat. Perhaps bringing your knees to your chest, rocking from side to side. Perhaps taking any final movements before arriving in our final resting pose, Shavasana. Bringing feet mat distance apart. Bringing the tongue to touch the roof of the mouth. Coming back to your intention to be present in each moment. Present with each breath. allowing each breath to surrender you a little bit deeper into the earth. Here is a quote from Michael Stone. Yoga is the unremitting attention to the present experience. Bringing your awareness back into the body. Consciously deepening the inhale. Consciously deepening the exhale. Moving fingers, toes, ankles, and wrists. Perhaps turning your head from side to side. Reaching out behind you, taking a full body stretch. And then rolling over to one side for a few moments. Pressing up to seated, eyes closed and hands in prayer. Taking a deep inhale to exhale. So as you inhale through your nose and exhale. Inhale through your nose and exhale. I thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.